Canada Day is getting hotter. Student research reveals 75 years of climate change. Alarming heat wave. Canada's national holiday getting dangerously warmer. Laurier researchers reveal. Canada's birthday celebrations are heating up, literally, and the implications could be devastating for the nation's future. This startling revelation comes from groundbreaking research conducted by 3 Wilfrid Laurier University students who uncovered a troubling pattern by examining July 1st temperatures across the country spanning 3/4 of a century. Their comprehensive analysis paints a concerning picture of a warming nation that many Canadians might still be overlooking. The extensive investigation, spearheaded by geography and environmental studies students Miyuki Niyungeko, Dara Bird, and Hiral Bhavsar, meticulously analyzed temperature records from 1949 to 2024 across all 14 Canadian capital cities. Their findings expose an unmistakable warming trajectory, with temperature elevations ranging from 0.9 to a staggering 3.5 degrees Celsius over this 75-year timeframe. Many Canadians might initially celebrate the prospect of warmer summer holiday weekends, the researchers note in their detailed report. However, beneath this seemingly pleasant change lurks a multitude of serious consequences, from economic disruptions to environmental degradation and significant public health threats that affect communities nationwide. But here's where the findings become truly alarming. For major Canadian cities, Regina, Winnipeg, Edmonton, and Halifax have experienced temperature increases between 3.1 and 3.5 degrees Celsius, substantially exceeding the critical 2-degree threshold established by the Paris Agreement. This internationally recognized climate accord, which Canada has formally committed to upholding, specifically aims to restrict global temperature increases to no more than 2 degrees above pre-industrial levels. The geographic distribution of these temperature changes reveals fascinating patterns about climate vulnerability across different regions. Oceanic proximity creates a buffering effect on temperature fluctuations, particularly during early summer months, explains Niyungeko. This explains why inland prairie provinces, isolated from oceanic influences, are experiencing dramatically more intense summer warming compared to coastal regions like the Maritimes or Victoria. Dara Bird highlights an intriguing nuance in the data. The most modest temperature increases were recorded in areas surrounding the Gulf of St. Lawrence. Cities like Quebec City and Fredericton benefit from their proximity to large bodies of water, which naturally moderate climate extremes and result in more stable annual temperature patterns. The Gulf of St. Lawrence and St. John's receive cooling influences from Arctic waters, while Halifax represents an interesting anomaly among maritime cities, experiencing greater warming due to warmer ocean currents traveling northward along the eastern seaboard. The student researchers unanimously emphasize that climate change demands more prominent positioning on Canada's political agenda, especially as wildfires, deteriorating air quality, and extreme heat events increasingly affect communities nationwide. Canada has made formal international commitments to implement the restrictions outlined in the Paris Agreement, Bhavsar points out. Yet the 75-year temperature increases we've documented across the prairies and Halifax significantly surpass this critical threshold, a discrepancy that demands immediate attention. Professor Robert McLeeman from Laurier's Department of Geography and Environmental Studies speaks glowingly about the students' collective passion for the Canada Day Temperature Project. These exceptional students demonstrated remarkable initiative and skill throughout this research process, McLeeman notes. Their work convincingly illustrates pronounced warming patterns across the entire country. They independently tackled every aspect of the project, from data acquisition and processing to writing specialized computer code for information collection and subsequent modeling. The results speak for themselves. All 3 researchers share a common ambition, making climate science more comprehensible and accessible to everyday Canadians. Climate change discussions need to permeate our everyday conversations, Bird asserts. We must openly acknowledge this crisis for what it is, a genuine emergency requiring collective action. Niyungeko and Bhavsar continue pursuing their master's degrees at Laurier, while Bird, having completed undergraduate studies, will soon begin master's work in physics and atmospheric science at Dalhousie University in Halifax, ironically, one of the cities experiencing the most dramatic warming. The time for meaningful climate action is now, emphasizes Niyungeko. If Canadians truly want to address climate change, we must foster stronger connections with one another, particularly engaging youth in this crucial conversation. Despite the challenges ahead, I remain fundamentally hopeful about our capacity for positive change. The research presents sobering statistics that deserve careful consideration. Canada Day temperature increases, 1949 to 2024. Regina, 3.5 degrees Celsius. Winnipeg, 3.3 degrees Celsius. Edmonton, 3.3 degrees Celsius. Halifax, 3.1 degrees Celsius. Whitehorse, 2.0 degrees Celsius. Victoria, 1.7 degrees Celsius. Charlottetown, 1.5 degrees Celsius. Iqaluit, 1.5 degrees Celsius. Yellowknife, 1.4 degrees Celsius. Toronto, 1.4 degrees Celsius. Ottawa, 1.4 degrees Celsius. St. John's, 1.2 degrees Celsius. Quebec City, 1.2 degrees Celsius. Fredericton, 0.9 degrees Celsius. These figures represent the average linear increase in mean temperature on July 1st measured in degrees Celsius, relative to the 1949 baseline, as documented by Environment and Climate Change Canada. And this raises profound questions for all Canadians. As we celebrate our national identity each July 1st, are we prepared to confront the reality that future generations may experience dramatically different environmental conditions during these celebrations? With prairie cities already surpassing the Paris Agreement thresholds by over 50%, can we afford to continue business as usual? Perhaps most importantly, do we believe individual actions matter in addressing climate change, or have we collectively surrendered to the inevitability of a warming world? Where do you stand on this critical issue affecting Canada's future?